The sun was just beginning to set over Toronto's skyline in 1965 when William Kilburn, a historian and city planner, took his pen to paper. He had been tasked with writing a history of City Hall for the upcoming centennial celebrations. But as he sat there in his office at the Old Town Hall on Bay Street, Kilburn couldn't shake a nagging sense of unease. The old City Hall was no longer enough. It was cramped and outdated, its Victorian Gothic architecture out of place among the modern glass and steel that was springing up around it. Toronto had grown far beyond what the original planners ever imagined. The city needed something new, a bold statement about its future. Kilburn knew there were whispers behind closed doors, people talking about tearing down City Hall to make way for a bigger, bolder vision. But he also understood that this wasn't just about buildings, it was about identity. For many Torontonians, the old City Hall was more than an administrative center. It was a symbol of resilience and progress. Yet there were others who saw the old City Hall as a relic, a reminder of a city stuck in the past. They wanted something that would reflect Toronto's new place on the global stage, something grand, innovative, and unapologetically modern. In 1954, the year after the Great Flood had devastated parts of downtown, city councillors gathered to discuss what seemed like an impossible task: building a new City Hall in record time. They chose Viljo Revel, a Finnish-Canadian architect with grand ideas and even bigger ambitions. But Revel wasn't just designing a building, he was creating a statement. The site chosen for the new City Hall was at Queen and Jarvis, right where the old city jail once stood. It was symbolic, a phoenix rising from the ashes of its past. Revel's design was unlike anything seen before in Toronto. Twin towers that rose like sentinels over the skyline, joined by a vast open rotunda. But not everyone loved it. There were those who thought the towers looked like egg beaters, and others who feared the new City Hall would be an eyesore. The debate raged on for years as the construction continued, with critics lobbing brickbats from all directions. Yet there was something undeniably powerful about Revel's vision. It spoke to a city that wasn't content to rest on its laurels, but wanted to push boundaries and redefine itself. And so, when the new City Hall finally opened in 1965, it didn't just house administrative offices, it became a landmark, an icon of Toronto's boldness and ambition. But what about the old City Hall? Could it survive alongside this towering monument to progress? In 1967, as part of the city's centennial celebrations, the Old Town Hall on Bay Street was renamed Old City Hall and transformed into a cultural center. It housed courts, a library, and even an art gallery. Yet it couldn't escape its shadow completely. The new City Hall had taken over as the heart of municipal governance, leaving Old City Hall to play second fiddle in many ways. But for Torontonians, that didn't diminish its significance. Instead, it became a cherished relic, a tangible link to Toronto's past when the city was smaller and more intimate. And so, two city halls coexist today, each telling its own story about Toronto. The old one whispers of tradition and perseverance, while the new one shouts of ambition and reinvention. Together, they form a narrative that is uniquely Torontonian, full of contradictions and complexities, yet unmistakably vibrant and alive. As you stand between these two giants, it's impossible not to feel the weight of history pressing down on you. But there's also an exhilarating sense of possibility, like the city is always moving forward while never forgetting where it came from. And that, more than any building or monument, is what Toronto's city halls represent. So next time you pass by these grand structures, take a moment to look up and around you. In those twin towers and the stately clock tower, you'll see the beating heart of one of Canada's most dynamic cities, a story that continues to unfold with every passing day.